Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Anime Brain Freeze. We are your happy springtime hosts.
I am John.
And I'm CC, and this is the show where we review all the anime series from the previous season we did and didn't watch start to finish. Apologies, dear listeners, I know we're 1 week late, and that is my fault, as usual. If we had adhered to our regular schedule, we would have had a new episode last week. But as things go, I went on a small vacation over the Easter weekend, and thus we had to postpone to today. John already kicked my ass for that. No, he didn't.
I mean, I don't know about that, but it kind of worked out anyway, since there were some shows that hadn't quite started yet. So
yeah, that's true. Anywho, let's not waste any more time, because it's the beginning of a freshly baked anime season, like we already hinted to. So before we get into our first review for winter season, which we're also going to do this episode, we have to take a quick look at all the brand new shows that hit the air. And we'll do that momentarily in our sneak peeks.
We'll help each other, 'cause you're my brother. We'll win no matter what the odds are.
Alright, so here we are in the sneak peek, and it's a weird thing, because last time John had more shows than me, before that I had more than him, and now this time I have more shows than him again. So apparently,
whoa!
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how that happens. But anyway, so since I have more shows on the roster than John does, I'm gonna start off with 2 shows I checked out the first episodes of, and then we're gonna take turns. And I hope it will work out alright. We'll see. Anywho, so the first show I took a look at from spring season 2017 is the second season of Berserk. Yeah.
Oh boy.
What to say about Berserk that I haven't already said in the review of the first season.
You know what there is to say? Being a Berserk fan is suffering.
Indeed it is. The show still looks like ass, total garbage, and yeah, it's painful to look at. What can you do? I mean, the story hits an interesting new chapter, because right in the first episode, Guts confronts Griffith, and we also get at least, like, we get a sneak peek, so to speak, at a new important character from Guts' RPG party. And yeah, so that's cool. Like, I know where the story goes already, of course, because I've read the manga. But I'm looking forward to see it in motion in a way. I just wish it, would look better than it does. There seemed to be more hand-drawn. There seems to be more hand-drawn stuff in the show, but that doesn't really help it, because that makes the CG more jarring and everything. What can you do? But I'm still looking forward to seeing the show, if only for actual voice acting, hearing those characters talk, and not only reading their speech bubbles on the page. So there's that. So let's see where this goes. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. And the next show I checked out, which I didn't expect I would, kinda, because I felt like, even though I enjoyed the ending of Naruto, I thought I would be kind of done with that franchise at that point. But I checked out the first episode of Boruto, Naruto Next Generations, which is all about... Yeah?
We call that Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, I guess. So this is all about Naruto's son, Boruto. Dumb name. I guess it's supposed to be Bolt, because, Naruto's father used, like, a lightning jutsu and everything, and haha, I get it. But, yeah, but still. So it is about Boruto and him, growing up with Naruto now being the Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village and everything. So the time in the show has moved on. All the characters from the old show have grown up and have become adults and have, have kids now, and grown their own little families and everything. So that at least is one of those interesting things of the show, to find out, wait, whose kid is that? what who's that guy, who's that guy's face made of, from, like, who of the old cast is mixed into that face? That's very interesting. Like I said, I wasn't sure I wanted another Naruto show, and also the creator of Naruto, Kishimoto, is not at the helm for this one. I think he didn't write the manga or anything. So I first checked out the Boruto movie, and I enjoyed that greatly. I thought it was a interesting, well, semi-interesting but very enjoyable action romp. And yeah, I had more fun with that than I expected. And also with the first few episodes of the show. Like, I was kind of afraid that they would tread very similar ground, like in terms of characters and everything. And in parts they do, it starts off with Boruto hitting school, just like Naruto did and everything, and starting up at Ninja Academy and everything. But the interesting part is in Boruto being a very different character to his old man, because he starts from a very different outset. Like Naruto was this isolated kid because of him harboring the Kyuubi spirit and everything, and being like this kind of cursed child. And his sole mission was to make everyone acknowledge him as a human being and as a person and as a his actual identity and everything, and not see him for the monster that he housed within him and everything. And he wasn't good at making friends, and he wasn't a talented ninja student or anything. And Boruto is pretty much the exact opposite. Like, he has this very well-known father, which makes him kind of popular immediately, and he's very talented in the ninja arts, and knows what he's doing. He's a bit more, I wouldn't say reserved, but collected and everything. So yeah, he's a lot different than his father was at his age. They still share a certain amount of brashness, and being a bit loud and everything, but they're different characters, and they have different goals in life. Naruto turns out not to be like the best dad. Who knew? So,
Shocker.
yeah. So Boruto is kind of like, I don't want to be like my old man. I don't want to become a Hokage. I want to find my own ninja way, and want to do things differently and everything. I don't want to. Maybe I don't want to live in a village and stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting new take, and I want to see what happens to the characters that we've come to know and love ? And so yeah, I want to go into this next generation. I wonder how many episodes this will get, because the first episode already teases the final confrontation of the show with Boruto all grown up and everything.
What?
Yeah. You get like a teaser of him fighting the main bad guy of the show, apparently, all fucking torn up, one eye sliced up and everything, and Konoha once again in fucking wrecked. Like,
Man, Konoha can't catch a break.
no, no. It's weird, like a lot of skyscrapers in the background. So it's like, okay, this has hit a super modernized age, and yeah, so. That's weird. I'm looking forward to it though. It could be cool. I'm just wondering how long it will take them this time to get to the end. Anyway, yeah, that's Boruto, and it's probably gonna be a while before I'm gonna review that. So there you go. So John, I've talked enough for now. So what's the first show you want to talk about?
I decided to watch the first episode of Armed Girls Machiavellism.
What?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird mismatched title, but anyway, it's all about this guy Fudo Nomura, and he's kind of a troublemaking jackass. He caused a massive 40-man brawl at his last school. I mean, that's impressive in and of itself.
But did he beat everyone, or?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Oh, okay, impressive. Yes.
But the people at his school are like, okay, get out. So he transfers to this new school that is well known for reforming boys with behavioral problems. And as it turns out,
like a blazing high school student.
Well,
Okay.
this new school is one where the girls are allowed to carry weapons.
Oh, okay.
But the male students kind of blend in with the rest by cross-dressing.
Sure, why not?
But Fudo is like, yeah, I don't think so. He decides to buck that trend, and he ends up going up against the 5 ruling swords. These 5 girls who are like, the big bads of the school. And
That's a weird twist on the formula where it's like, no, fuck you, I'm a guy.
it's not interesting on the whole.
Okay.
And And I mean, I was like, why not watch this? It's not a light novel, actually, surprisingly.
Wait, is this going where I think it's going, where it's like he beats one girl in every episode and then they fall for him or something because he's so super strong?
Okay, so I want to say that this show's intro sequence, I love it. It's super good. It's got a catchy song, strong visuals, and great establishing shots. But at about 3 seconds in, the harem flag is up.
All right, there we go.
And I mean, I'm watching another show this season that we'll get to that is ostensibly also a harem, but the characters are actually interesting.
Okay.
So, Armed Girls Machiavellism is at its core an action show. And the fight between Fudo and this girl Rin in the first episode is like, it's not poorly animated. It's just not interesting to watch. Okay. And I feel like that sort of sets the tone very poorly for the rest. Because, again, I don't think
there camera perspectives or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's nothing terribly offensive about the show, but it didn't really... I didn't feel like it was worth sticking around for.
So, I guess it's an instant drop for you then.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well,
instant drop for the show. Thumbs up for the intro sequence because it's super freaking good.
Well, I'm gonna take a look at least at that then. I guess. Okay, the next show I'm gonna talk about that's probably not a drop for both of us is My Hero Academia Season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after the events of the first season finale, which had our startup heroes face against a powerful force of villains and barely escaping with their lives, the next big thing in store for them is an internal school sports / tournament battle competition, which means I'm immediately on board, all in. So yeah, so this is like, I don't know, this is like a school sports events, but it's with superhero powers, and everyone has to show what he's got, and be his very best and everything. So it seems we're gonna learn more about Todoroki, one of the coolest,
coolest or hottest
cast members. Yeah, I was totally interested in him from the beginning. I want to see what his origin story is and everything. So I hope we learn more about that, and it seems like we will. And Deku, our main character, also seems to be dedicated to finally show the world his true potential. Some of that being attributed to that his mentor, All Might, has, now that he went all out, when facing off against the villains to protect his students, he has now even less time where he can actually transform into his, powerful form and, actually use his powers. I think he's down to 5 minutes now or something.
I don't think it was quite that short, but it is short.
It's very short. So yeah. So time is a ticking. Deku has to master his fucking powers and make an impact and become the hero that he's destined to be. And we're gonna follow him. And also, this season apparently has not 13 but 24, 26 episodes.
Yeah.
So that makes me very happy, and I'm looking forward to each new episode. Of course, one of my and your favorite shows from past seasons. So go Bones.
I kind of feel like it's a weird crutch to fall back on so quickly with a tournament, but I mean, it at least is a good vehicle to be able to show off all of the characters and their abilities a bit more.
Yeah, and if any show would have done that, it feels like this show, because it's like the epitome of standard shonen, just just pulled off incredibly well. So I wouldn't say I was surprised that it happened so soon. I would have been more surprised if it happened, like if it didn't not happen at all. It's like, okay,
that's true.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this was bound to happen. Like you said, it's kind of surprising that they already went for it, but it's not like, okay, wow, why would they do that? No, this was bound to happen. So
well, yeah, I mean, I knew it would be
rather sooner than later, I think. So why not?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it would be somewhere in there. I just wasn't sure, where it would fall. Is all.
And it's not like it's an all tournament arc. It's it seems like they will have like these it will be a bit sports themed. So
Mm.
which makes it more interesting. It feels like a bit like Hunter x Hunter in that regard, because they had also like a small tournament thing during the Hunter exams in that show, but first they had to do some different adventures and do an obstacle course and collect badges from other participants and everything. So yeah, capture the flag thing. So it feels like that, and that's cool. That's always interesting, and to see the characters that have worked together before see clash, for prize money and everything. So yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, My Hero Academia season 2 definitely already recommended, and you will hear a review of that in
due time.
in due time. So what's next on your list, John?
Sakura Quest.
Oh boy, here we go.
This was the big PA work show that I'd been waiting for since Shirobako. I mean, absolutely no one was tweeting about it. Certainly not at Miles Express 999. So the show follows the story of this girl, Yoshino Koharu, and she wants to work in the bustling metropolis of Tokyo. She's fresh out of college. She's got a whole bunch of interviews lined up, and she can't find a job worth a damn. Doesn't that sound like a story that everyone can relate to? Raise his hand.
Da-da.
Womp womp. So, in a case of mistaken identity, she's called up by this talent agency that she did like contract work for in the past, and it's like, hey, you have someone who wants to call you out to basically work as the face of this remote town's tourism bureau. And I say mistaken identity because apparently the woman that they were looking for, the kanji in her name is written very similarly.
Yeah, that's how it turned out.
So, oops. So Yoshino basically gets called out to this town in the boonies called Manoyama. And she's like, wait, you want me to do what now? You want me to basically revitalize your town? And it turns out that this is a year-long contract, and she doesn't want any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, she concocts this plan to get out, and she makes a deal with the head of the tourism bureau, this guy KADO, and he's like, okay, if you can achieve this very much impossible task, you can go back to Tokyo. It doesn't happen.
Of course not.
So she kind of reluctantly takes on the role of queen so they can sell the town as this like micronation to draw in attention. Mm-hmm. And she teams up with other girls. They each have their own talents for like helping draw attention and activate the tourism there again. And I think it seems like it'll be a fun story to try and see how they puzzle out how to make it more visible to people who aren't there, to draw more people in.
Yeah, it seems like all around this seems like a super pleasant show. Like, nice characters overall, and like you said, this feels like Shirobako 2.0. Just a different setting, but in terms of character constellations and everything, it feels like, okay, these are all a lot of nice people. The problem for me is I already lost interest in Shirobako pretty fast, and that was still on a subject that I'm kind of interested in, which is the anime industry and everything, but this show has nothing to offer in that regard for me. Miles from Crunchyroll would probably suspend my premium account if he could hear me say this, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't listen to this show, so I'm all good. But
I'll tweet it at him. I'll say, listen, look at this shitter. He doesn't like your show.
Yeah, I really have to admit I was pretty bored by the first episode. I'm sorry. I was like, man, this is all nice, and man, this is cute and everything. Out in the Hicks, it felt a bit like Flying Witch in parts, but with a more spunk to it. But it doesn't have like this supernatural spin to it or anything. There's a bit of a mystery in the beginning of the first episode, but that gets resolved at the end, and it's alright. It's like a cute twist and everything, but I'm just not really interested in that Doc Hollywood story, like big town girl that doesn't like the countryside, gets stuck there and makes friends with all the cookie people. It feels a bit like a message again to, hey kids, don't you all leave for the big city because otherwise the countryside will be filled with very nice dying old people. Which I think that's a real problem in Japan, so it's contemporary, but still. I don't know. It's just like, okay, this is probably there's gonna be nice, cute stories, and this is something to relax to when you get home from work and everything. And look at all these nice people. I wish I was there. And man, Japanese countryside has a lot of things to offer after all. But it's like, no, this is not my kind of escapism. So if there's not a neat, I don't know, a neat, interesting fantasy, science fiction, whatever twist to it, it's hard for me to engage with that stuff. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a lot of fun and a lot of people will love it, just like, people love Chirobako. So there you go. Just not for me, sorry.
Yeah, I get it. But, I'm a sucker for the PA Works, as they're calling it, Working Girls series. Although I still haven't watched Hanasaku Iroha yet, I'd like to.
All right. But I'm pretty sure you will be happy with Sakura Quest. Maybe not as happy as Miles is, but...
Oh, Miles is as happy as a pig in shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Miles, if you're listening, we love you.
So, after I've dragged down the mood, after John pulled it up so magnificently, let's keep the mood down. Another show that is definitely not for me is KADO, The Right Answer. So the setup for the story is there's like a plane getting abducted by aliens in the beginning of the first episode, and there's this private negotiator on board who was like on a mission to negotiate the contract between, I don't know, two companies or two countries or something. So he was on that board and is apparently that skilled of a bargain man that he is able to make a deal with the aliens for the passengers' lives. And apparently, or maybe the fate of humanity overall. So I guess this is like a setup where he tries to make the aliens, I don't know, realize that humanity has something to offer, or it's like a bit of a, this is a game, and I'm gonna my negotiation skills will be by my weapon or everything. Which, as a setup itself, sounds super interesting to me. The problem is, this is another CG show. The CG is slightly better than Berserk, only slightly, but the show makes the horrible mistake of putting CG and hand-drawn characters in the same frame at the same time.
Oh boy, it's handshakers again.
and Berserk puts hand-drawn characters in the show, but they only are, they're only hand-drawn characters in one frame. And no CG characters, and it's usually used for close-ups to make more use of, the beautifully hand-drawn faces and everything. But in this show, you got, your main characters who are sometimes CG and other main characters who are not CG for some reason sharing the same screen, talking to each other, and that makes the bad CG stand out even more.
Oh no!
And it's like the creators of this show are yelling at you. Look, our CG is so amazing, you can't tell them apart. Yes, we fucking can, all the fucking time. You morons!
What a 10 out of 10 show. Yes. Pre-ordered the Blu-ray already.
God damn it! It's like, okay, this could be a cool story. Could be amazing, but I can't watch it. It's too distracting. Every time I'm looking at a frame, okay, this is a CG character, this isn't. I'm doing that I can't stop because you see it immediately, and it's so jarring for me. It's so super jarring, and I don't know why they did it. If they really think that their CG looks so amazing that you can't tell them apart, because you fucking can. Everybody can. Wake up, Japan. Holy shit. Anyway, that's a hard drop for me. I just wanted to bring it up because it was very irritating experience for me. So there you go, and now you know why. John, save me and tell me about another show you watched.
Well, let's let's talk about everyone's favorite. No, not light novels, not yet, but mobile game adaptations.
There we go.
Granblue Fantasy. So, it's an adaptation, like I said, of a popular, wildly popular browser/mobile game. The story follows a young boy named Gran who has aspirations of taking to the skies in an airship like his father before him. He lives peacefully with his lizard.
Nice.
He lives peacefully with his lizard pal Vern, but their calm lives are interrupted when a young girl, Luria, and her guardian, Catalina, defect from the Erst Empire and make their getaway to the island Gran lives on, and what ensues is a skyfaring adventure of amazing proportions. Wow, I could actually write promo material for this shit.
Yes. You should.
But yeah, I mean, I understand one thing about this show. And that's where all of the gotcha money from the game has gone, because I think the show looks legitimately really, really nice.
Okay, that's interesting, because that is my main gripe with that show, actually.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, I think the backgrounds look great, and the animation is also really good. The problem is the character models for me, because I think the line work is horribly messy. In a lot of frames, the characters look like bad Photoshop cutouts, in my opinion. Like someone didn't have a grasp on how to properly use the magic brush tool, so basically me. But as you can tell from our fucking YouTube thumbnails. But anyway, it's just another thing. It's like, man, this could look beautiful, and I can't say anything about the story because so far it seems pretty standard fantasy fare, which is not a bad thing by all means. I like that stuff, but it's like I'm looking at these character models and it's like, why does that look so weird? Why is there like these weird spots between the lines that shouldn't be there? It looks like someone, I don't know, just probably didn't cut out that character model. It looks weird. So apparently that doesn't bother you too much, or I don't know. You don't see it? You don't, or it doesn't jump out at you?
I played the game for a while myself, so I guess I just kind of got used to the somewhat sketchy art style from it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me so much.
That's cool.
But I mean, the game and the show are kind of a wonder to me because it's got like a lot of the same stuff from like Final Fantasy 6 and 9, Lost Odyssey. So
Whoa, oh, okay. I
yeah,
didn't know that. That's cool.
Like music by Nobuo Uematsu, the art director is Hideo Minaba.
Did Nobuo Uematsu compose the soundtrack for the anime series as well?
Yes, he did, alongside Tsutomu Narita and Yasunori Nishiki. So, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. But yeah, I mean, the basic setup was interesting enough for me, but like I said, again, the artwork is so jarring for me. Like, I can't concentrate on what's happening in the actual show and in the story and everything because, you know, I'm always looking at the character models like, this doesn't look right. So that's probably just, you know, my mistake. But
I wouldn't really call it a mistake or a flaw. It's just, you know, you weren't, you know, as familiar with them from the game.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll check out one or two episodes and get used to it. So we'll see.
So, I mean, I think it's just them trying to emulate that style.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for fans of the game, that's probably the best choice they could have made because it's like, oh, okay, this looks like the game, and yeah, I can see the like fully animated and everything, and you know, the story's told in anime form. So I guess that was the right choice. It's just like I haven't seen something, you know, that kind of art style before, and it just feels really weird to me. But maybe I'll get used to it. We'll see. Okay.
So then, what do you have for us?
Another fantasy anime, the second season of Rage of Bahamut, which I believe is also based on a mobile game. So, yeah, I really loved the first season of that. Genesis was surprisingly good and I don't know, fresh fantasy anime with a pretty good story and like this interesting world that was this mashup of different mythologies and everything, and kind of mold-breaking characters. It had like this cool adventure feel to it that I really enjoyed. So the second season pretty much continues with that. I'm not entirely sure where it's fitting in the timeline. We get some small appearances by familiar faces from the first season, like Bacchus and his talking duck Hamza, and also our favorite soldier boy Kaiser. But our new main character is a young girl named Nina, who besides being adorable is also super horny.
Oh boy.
But has the small problem that if she is too turned on by a dude, she turns into a super powerful, very angry dragon and goes berserk. You know, as it happens, but that's gonna suck. So
Japan.
No, but it sounds more, I don't know, more kinky or gross than it actually is, because it's like super, I don't know, super innocent, super sympathetic and everything. Nina is a great character and is not like super sexualized or anything. It's just like, okay, she has the hots for that guy, and apparently she can't live out her feelings or she will turn into a fucking dragon. And I mean, the show is called Rage of Bahamut Virgin Soul, so I can guess where this is going, but still.
Well, at least that's better than another show that's running this season in terms of weird perversions that we aren't talking about, because I don't think either of us are going to watch it.
Well, I don't know which one you're talking about. Maybe you...
Spoilers, it's Arrow Manga Sensei.
Oh, right, that one. No, that's probably not... I haven't checked out the first episode of that. Wasn't so interested in it.
I can sum it up as saying it's the same staff, cast, and creator as Ore Emo, so stay away.
Okay. Well, you watched part of that show, right?
I watched all of Ore Emo, and at the very end, I just wanted to hang myself.
Okay. Ringing endorsement there. But yeah, really looking forward to checking out more Rage of Bahamut, because, like I said, first season was pretty amazing. And came out of nowhere. I didn't expect it. I read like mobile game, and this sounds kind of lame. And then, wow, lo and behold, great show, great, fantastic fantasy anime. So I hope the second season will be just as good.
That's cool.
So yeah, looking forward to more. John, what's next for you on the list?
Next is Atom: The Beginning.
Ah, yes.
So this show's all about the lives of the up-and-coming robotics scientists Umataro Tenma and Hiroshi Ochanu Mizu, which, if those names are familiar, then you probably know a little bit about Astro Boy.
Or, more about his Japanese name.
Or Tetsuan Atom, if you would rather.
Atom, yes, the mighty Atom, because I believe wait, no, Dr. Tenma still kept his name in the American version, right?
Yeah, and Ochanu Mizu changed to what was like Dr. O'Shea. At one point it was Dr. Ella Fun. It's like, okay, all right. You could keep that name in the 50s and 60s.
Because of his nose?
Of his nose, and I guess the way his hair looked, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, story revolves around them experimenting with creating autonomous robots that can think and act on their own. Yeah. And the one creation that gets shown off very early on is a machine called A106 that sort of appears out of nowhere when Tenma decides, hey, I don't feel like doing my job today. You can do it for me, robot. And he saves a crowd from a robot that's rigged to explode.
Yeah. And this show is animated by Production IG. And
well, I think it's like a large collaborative effort between them and Oriental Light and Magic.
And another
Signal MD. So I don't know them as much, but
and I think also a pretty well-known director and writer and everything. So yeah, this seems like an all-star cast and crew, and I'm looking forward to what turn out. I'm not super familiar with Astro Boy. I always wanted to get into the franchise. I read like a manga set in that universe by the guy who wrote Monster and 20th Century Boys. Sorry, I forgot his name right now. But yeah, that story is called Pluto, and I enjoyed that quite a lot. And I hope we will get an anime of that adaptation of that eventually. But yeah, so that was like an interesting dark take on the Astro Boy franchise. So I wanted to get learn more about it, and I tried to check out like the more recent Astro Boy show from the odds. But
Oh yeah, there was one in 2003.
yes, it also aired on 4Kids or something, and they bastardized it, of course. And I could not find, neither legal or fan sub, fully properly translated version of with the Japanese audio tracks and everything. So that was a miss. But still, maybe this one will give me more info on that franchise and help me get into it more. And yeah. Maybe we're due for another remake of the original show as well after this, so we'll see. I'm looking forward to checking out more of this because the intro looked amazing for what's to come and everything, and animation wise, it's already the artwork in that show looks very interesting as well. It's like
I like the art direction.
Yeah, definitely. Like really interesting backgrounds. Again, feels a bit like pastel colors and stuff like that in certain parts. So yeah, I enjoyed a lot about the show, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. And apparently you are as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I like a lot of Tezuka stuff, so even though this isn't, obviously directly out of his brain, but it is related, so.
Yeah, it's one of his franchises. So okay.
Your turn.
Yes, my turn. Another fantasy show I checked out that you were complaining about earlier, just because of the name, is Grimoire of Zero.
You mean the show that has a name very similar to ReZero? Thanks, Japan.
Well, we have another show with Re in the title in this in this fucking season, so whatever. That's also a trend. Anyway, Grimoire of Zero, weird tiger mercenary dude, like literally half man, half tiger, runs into a witch, and he initially doesn't want anything to do with her. He is also, I think he is a witch hunter, I'm not sure, but mostly he doesn't want to have to do anything with witches because half beasts like him are apparently either killed by witches or made into their servants, because they take to their powers or something like that. But the witch in question promises him to turn him into a human if he helps her with her quest. Bring her to a certain town, help her meet a certain person and everything. So after, he begrudgingly agrees, to help her because he wants to be human and everything. And yeah, they take on their journey, off on their journey. And it's cute. It's like, it has a bit of a it's not as dark as Berserk or anything, but it's like this big burly dude and the small witch, and they go on a quest together, and you don't know what that entails yet, and there's probably some conspiracy and darkness lurking in in the shadows and everything. But yeah, it's cool. The beast man as a main character is kind of unusual, and also the way he's animated and everything is kind of interesting, because I remember the last time that I did that was like the adaptation of a novel series called Green Saga, and that had like this guy with the leopard face and his mouth never moved. Was super weird.
So you mean it was like King from Tekken?
Yeah, exactly. But I think that Green Saga might have been inspiration for King from Tekken, actually. So there's that. But no, he looks very cartoony. He looks, just like cartoon tiger, or a big burly mercenary guy with cartoon tiger face and cartoon tiger hands and everything. So I don't know. It's got this nice cartoony feel to it, and I like his dynamic with the witch character and everything. They make a fun pair, and yeah, it's got a very cute ending animation and everything, where she every time he is sleeping, she's crawling up to him and trying to sleep on his chest because he's so furry and warm and fuzzy. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get off me!" at the very end, this is repeated like 2 or 3 times, and at the very end, he's like raising his head, and you see he's like pissed, but then he gets back. He just lays back, and it's like, what the fuck? I don't.
He's just like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, whatever. I let her sleep, and I don't know. That's just cute. So yeah, I'll keep watching it. Let's see if it gets anywhere interesting. Might as well be boring after a few episodes, but we'll see. For now, it's cute, fun.
Cool.
Okay, what's next for you?
Sword Oratoria. So this is basically a side story to Danmachi, or is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
That show.
Which
String girl.
Don't you talk shit on Hestia.
I wouldn't dare.
I still kind of feel like that name is kind of a misnomer because there isn't a lot of hitting on girls in a dungeon. There's just one girl lusting after one guy, and then a guy and a girl who are too bashful to say how they feel about each other. So,
Okay.
Anyhow, Sword Oratoria is basically, like I said, the side story. It runs parallel to the original story because you see a lot of, well, not a lot, but you see overlapping scenes between that and the original, but from the perspective of the Sword Princess, Ys Wallenstein, and her guild, or as they refer to it in universe, the Familia that she is part of. Basically, the long story short is each Familia identifies with a different god or goddess, so that's how they align themselves, basically.
Is her guild mentioned in the other show already, or?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
So it's well established. I feel like my big problem with the first episode was that it's been a while since the last show that, they kind of were like, hey, you remember all these guys, right? Good, let's go. And it's like, wait, hold on, stop. Put on the brakes a bit.
I had that problem with Rage of Bahamut, actually. I was like, wait, what? I don't quite remember what happened at the last episode. Where is the set? What? What happened to the characters?
Like, there are certain names and characters that I remember, but everyone else was like, oh, we're just going to gloss over that. They're here. Cool. And I'm like, no, slow it down. Chill out. But I don't know if I would say it's equally as goofy as the first series, but it has its moments of goofiness. So it's good to see that it's still not really taking itself too seriously.
But a bit more, I don't know, darker tones or more story-driven narrative or anything.
Just because it's more about, like I said, Eyes instead of the main character of the other series, Belle. And she has her apprehensions that she's not getting as strong as she wants to be. So, it's more of her dealing with that.
All right.
And I feel like it could be interesting to watch play out.
Sure. Sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. So what you got next?
Okay. I'll try to read this in one go.
When you start like that.
So the title of the show is "What do you do at the end of the world? Are you busy? Will you save us?"
Yes, I've heard about this.
Yeah, Japan.
You could just call it Suka Suka for short.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do actually. So this is again a fantasy show, which is set maybe, I don't know, in a post-apocalyptic fantasy land, maybe Earth, I don't know. So it's about this human boy who seems to be immortal and the last of his kind because humanity apparently got completely destroyed, killed off, whatever, obliterated, and he's the last one apparently and immortal for some reason. Because other than him, there are basically a lot of furries and monsters running around like over the world. And in the first episode, he runs into a human-looking girl in the city. They spend some time together, because she wants to go to a specific place in the city, and he's kind of her guide. And this is all accompanied by this really great music that sounded really familiar to me, but I couldn't put my finger on it. but just like, this very, very nice atmospheric track that really got you into the show and, I don't know, build up a great atmosphere. So yeah, that got me immediately interested when that started playing. And yeah, so he shows her around the city, and they get to that one spot on top of a building and share kind of a moment together. Not really, but, kind of, she's like grateful. Hey, thanks for bringing me here and everything. And then they part ways because she apparently has to, she can't stay in the city for too long for some reason. And, has some buddies picking her up and everything. But yeah, they part ways, say their goodbyes and everything. And then a bit later, the boy takes on a job as a caretaker. His friend offers him a job. He's like, hey, I got this deal. You, as a mercenary ex-soldier, could be a caretaker at a warehouse that is supposed to store like these powerful weapons. And that warehouse actually turns out to be more of an orphanage, and the weapons are the children living there.
Oh.
And also the girl he met earlier. And that's kind of the revelation at the end of the first episode, where it's like, okay, I don't get it. This is supposed to be like a weapons storage like warehouse. Where are all the weapons? And who are you? And who are the children? And she's like, well, the answer to one question lies in the other, because we are those weapons. And he's like, oh, what the fuck? So, this feels like, this is a very interesting setup, and I can't really tell where it's going yet. But okay, the very beginning of the episode, he's like a bigger battle taking place later in the show. And, the girls being the part of that. For now, it could be like, I don't know, hijinks with him and the kids and the girl, and also that troll lady that apparently is a caretaker in that warehouse as well, who he is familiar with, and immediately when he recognizes there is I shouldn't have taken this job. Because she wants to eat him. Yeah, she's a troll. So, and they eat humans apparently, but she won't eat him if he doesn't allow it. So yeah, it's just constantly back and forth. Hey, can I eat you? And he's not. No, go away. So it's like an interesting dynamic. It's just like, it's very, very sympathetic characters, and animation is okay. It's done by Satellite. Nice backgrounds, and like I said, the music is cool and everything. So a lot of sympathetic characters. Could be something like Black Bullet, but I hope it won't share its off-putting sexual undertones. That was something I really didn't like about Black Bullet. I enjoyed that show, but man, I could have done without that. So I
think we all could have done without that.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll see where this goes. For now, it seems to be like, okay, here's this dude, and he's gonna take care of the girls in that house and everything, and I hope it doesn't go the harem route. So we'll see where it goes. I for now, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, because the like I said, the first episode was really strong, and good setup and everything, and seems more sympathetic and more, I don't know, interested in the comedy bits of that, and then maybe later get into the more action and darker tones of the story and everything. But yeah, for now I'm interested. I'll have to get used to that super long title. But maybe I'll just say Suka Suka. And but yeah, so far it seems like a cool show.
Cool.
So what's next for you?
So speaking of harems, and speaking of light novels, Saekano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend Flat.
That's also a long title.
It's longer in Japanese. But, so, this is...
Boy, what show isn't?
I'm pretty sure the longest title I can think of off the top of my head isn't even an anime. It's I know there are light novel titles that are like, holy shit, you need to take a breath while saying it. But the one that readily pops to mind is Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People, Episode 4, Dangeresque 3, The Criminal Projective.
Yes, that's a long title, holy shit. Did that fit on the box art or something?
It didn't need to fit on box art because there is a downloadable game.
All right, yeah, super.
But yes, Saekano. This is, a continuation of a show from a couple of years back. And it's all about this boy named Tomoya Aki. Tomoya has a dream to create the best visual novel of all time. in spite of not having any romantic aspirations for himself. He meets this like dream girl, Megumi Kato, and he desires to model her as the heroine of his game. Except that Megumi is like a very plain, ordinary girl who has, initially no interest in this whatsoever. No interest in the game, no interest in romance, be it for herself or her fictional self. And Tomoya kind of brings in some other unwilling help, like his best friend Eriri to help do make the art. An upperclassman named Utaha to help with writing the story, and his cousin Mitsuru to write the music. Now, straight away, it's basically, look at all this harem bait. Why can't I hold all of it? Why can't I hold all this harem bait? But in comparison to Armed Girls Machiavellism, like I was talking about earlier, the characters have personality and they play off each other in an interesting way. Like Eriri is Tomoya's, childhood best friend. So when Utaha enters the scene, instantly she, without saying in so many words, but she might as well, is basically like, don't you fucking lay a finger on him.
Okay.
And that sets the precedent. But, she's also, every single one of the characters also operates under, like a pseudonym for their doujin works. So Eriri doesn't want to openly admit that she has read some of Utaha's work and likes it. So it's just a whole bunch of clashing ideals between these characters who get along for the sake of making this project happen. And it shouldn't be as interesting as it is, but I really like the characters and I think it's a lot of fun.
Sure, sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if the character work is good, like that can save an entire show.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, my only misgiving is that, one of the girls is Tomoya's cousin. And that's a little bit of a, you're pushing the red button.
Well,
But-
at least it's not his sister, like in Sword Art Online.
Oh my fucking god! You're not actually my sister. I'm instantly over it. Wait, Sugi, you might still have a chance with me.
God damn it.
If you've ever seen that video of Sword Art Online and was
I think I have, yes.
5 or 6 minutes, fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
So, what do you have next for us?
I'm pretty sure a show you also checked out. Recreators.
Yeah.
So, this is like, this pushes the fate buttons, as in it's like this fun action battle royale, akin a bit to the Fate series, just not with, classic historical figures incarnated as servants, but typical characters from manga, anime, and games that exist in the real world of that show. I mean, the manga series and game series do. And the characters from those series then get transported over to the real world in that show and apparently are destined to fight each other. So the main character of the show, forgot his name. Sota. Yes, he plays like this game, one of his favorite games, and then suddenly is transported to this fantasy world apparently and watches the character from the game fight another character, and then...
Well, I think in that instance it was him watching a show.
Or... Yes, right, he was watching the anime. Right,
Yeah,
right.
Elemental Symphony of Vogel Chevalier.
Yeah, and the main character from that anime, her name is...
Celestia,
right. And they get... I don't know how it happens, but they by accident get transported back to the real world. His tarot seems to be responsible for that for some reason. But yeah, and she's not the only one. They pretty much immediately get into a fight with this weird army-looking magic witch girl, whatever. And yeah, she's might be one of the, I don't know, one of the the reasons why this is happening. We don't know yet. What we know is that it's well animated, and the fights look pretty damn great. And the music is by Hiroki Sawano, so it's a win-win.
Like this hits on all of the right notes. Like I think I said on Twitter something like it's the dream crossover of IPs that don't actually exist.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it seems like it'll be like a really fun sort of thing. Just, look at all of these things that we created and we're just kind of mashing together because we felt like it. And it's like, all right,
yeah,
sure.
All of these characters are like, oh yeah, that is an amalgamation of characters from that and that and that, and it feels like, I don't know, a few manga creators got together and were like, okay, this is our headcanon with characters we never created or something. so yeah, but I'm cautiously optimistic, but we were kind of that hyped or psyched at the beginning of Altnoir as well, which pushed all the right buttons and had kind of the same, I don't know, composition in terms of what made it look good.
I mean, it's the same studio and director, but I don't think it's the same writer, so.
Well, okay, the initial writer for Altnoir was...
Well, that was Urobuchi, but I mean after Urobuchi, I mean.
Yeah, exactly, after the first three episodes, whoever took over then. So that's not the same guy. Okay, good. Well, then I'm hopeful that this might turn out better than Altnoir did in the end. So yeah, for now this is like a super fun action show, really good looking and everything. So, although really exposition heavy in its second episode, holy shit! Like the library girl is like talking for 10 minutes straight. I could learn a few things from her. And I mean, it's really nice with like showing the vistas of the city and everything at the same time, and then doing like everyday stuff. It's fun. Like, it's not like she's sitting in a room and talking all the time. But yeah, that was like, holy shit. Are we done with the backstory now and the analysis? Holy crap. But yeah, other than that, it's a super fun show, and I'm looking forward to seeing more and hearing more. Yeah. Great stuff.
I like that the military uniform girl, her first appearance is her holding a rifle like a violin and using a sword to pull across it as if it were the bow on the strings. I was like, this is ridiculous, and I love it.
Yeah. And also, what in the second episode, what I love was, so they fight this classic Sailor Moon-esque, Doremi whatever, magical girl. And, you got this fight and she throws hearts around, and then Celestia gets, like, hit to the ground and coughs up blood, and the magical girl is terrified.
Yeah.
Because that's so cool, because obviously in her series, in her anime series or manga series, blood wouldn't be a thing because that would be aimed at kids.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So just seeing that, like, clashing ideal and, like, wait a minute, this is way different from what I know.
Yeah, she's like, wait, blood? Why? No, this, I have never hurt people. This has never hurt anyone. Why, what's happening? Why do my attacks hurt people? Why do they make you cough up blood? And it's just amazing to see her, like, completely flabbergasted and scared because of that. That's smart. That's a cool, neat idea and a neat twist on the whole thing. It was like, yeah, cool idea. I wonder what this show has in store for us in that regard. Like, yeah, looking forward to more, definitely.
Definitely. So, the last one on my list is one that I'm pretty sure we're both watching, and it's Attack on Titan.
Yes, that's also the last entry on my list. Oh my god, we timed it perfectly.
Holy shit!
Yes.
So it's, this continuing story of humanity's struggle against the colossal beings known only as Titans. And I'm just going to throw out there right now that I already have more questions than answers.
Yes, so it's a straight continuation from the first season.
Hey, did you remember what happened 4 years ago? Good, let's go.
Yeah. Just like with Sword Oratoria, I guess. Yeah. So, You're right. It's like it's picking up immediately where the first season left off. Like spoilers for season 1. If you haven't seen it yet, what have you done with your anime life?
I mean, I guess in a way, that's a good way of them saying we respect your time and we're not going to waste it on a
Yeah.
recap. Kind of like going back to My Hero Academia. Even though there was recap, it was relatively brief.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, the first third of the episode or something.
If
The
that.
first episode. Yeah. So yeah, like it's been 4 years. That's quite a long time, but I don't know. I feel like this it just picks up the pace immediately, and that felt good. It's like, okay, we're right back into the story. It's cool. I mean, for me, it probably wasn't jarring at all because I revisited the first season like a year ago, so all of the story is pretty fresh in my mind still. Because I enjoyed that show so much. But yeah, and I was really happy with it, like going right back at it because I wanted the story to continue. I didn't want time to be wasted, and they didn't do that. So yeah, great stuff. Again, another show scored by Sawano, of course, which makes me happy. The opening is super spoilery. Like,
Yeah, it is.
like the few last scenes in the opening are like, what the fuck? You maybe should have kept that for the show because I didn't see that fucking coming at all.
Out of all the openings and endings from this season, this one has like the weirdest ones, man.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
especially that ending. My first time watching it, I was like, okay, that's a thing.
And apparently the ending is super spoilery as well. Like, if you look for that stuff and if you know what you're looking for, it's apparently like telling huge chunks of the story. So I just stopped from watching it after I heard that. I'm like, nope, okay, I don't want, because if once I sink my teeth into that, I can't let go of speculations and everything. And I already have some pretty good guesses where the story is going and what like the solution to the deeper mysteries of the show are, but I don't want it spelled out for me outside of the show. Like, I don't want to see like the solutions to that in an ending and be like, okay, now I'm completely sure this is what's happening. So yeah, I'm not gonna watch the ending anymore. Opening is too cool to not watch it though. So
It's just a little out there for me.
what, the opening or the ending?
Both.
Okay. And it's like, I don't know, the opening is on in the same vein as the other ones were.
I mean, the song is cool because it's what's his name, Revo. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it looks great. It sets up a lot more mysteries, like you already said. Like, I hope we're gonna get a few answers soon. Although, like I said, I have some guesses already. But yeah, I'm looking forward to each new episode, like I did with the old show. It's just like this really impactful, very loud, very well animated, very emotional show with cool characters. One of my favorites getting a highlight episode in the episode in the second episode. Sasha is fucking great.
yeah, she is.
Yeah, and that was a fantastic scene, man. So, yeah, Attack on Titan Season 2, the show still got it, and sadly, it's gonna only have 12 or 13 episodes in this season.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're already preparing the third one. They're just gonna keep to 13 episode seasons for now.
Either they have to be, or this season's going to move at a breakneck pace. Because I know they were saying, "Hey, we respect you. We don't want to waste your time with filler, so we're waiting to be like a decent chunk ahead before we start production on the animated side."
Yeah, I assume they're just gonna do like season 2 of this, and then maybe wait another year this time around and not 4, and then do another 13 episode core or something. And maybe we'll get another season of Sarah of the End in between. That would be nice.
Yes, it would.
Yeah. So yeah, but Attack on Titan Season 2, definitely one of the highly recommended shows from us. And if you've not watched the first season yet, please do that, and then continue with the second season. Of course, we're gonna review the first and second season when the second season has finished, because we have not done a review of the first season of Attack on Titan yet. sure want to talk about that show. Anyway, I think that's it for us for the sneak peek, right? We're all done.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of interesting new shows to check out. Maybe not all keepers, but we'll see how it turns out at the end of the season. What stays and what we drop. But we also still have our first show from winter season 2017 to review, and let's get into that right now.
Let's do that. So it's time to shovel the snow away because winter season is over. Or is it? Because we're going to talk today about Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, a show that was brought to us by our friends at Kyoto Animation. It was created by...
We just recently talked about because of your review of Sound Euphonium.
This is true. It's true. KyoAni puts in the work. I mean, most of the time. But this is a show that comes out of the brain of a writer with the name of Cool Kyoshinja.
Okay.
Yeah.
I assumed it's a pen name.
I mean,
I can't be quite sure.
I couldn't find any other name other than that, but okay, that's fine. They have done other works such as I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying, which it's something I've seen thrown around, but I never actually watched for myself. And Komori-san Can't Decline, again, the same thing. It was directed by Yasuhiro Takemoto, who is basically, as far as I can tell, one of KyoAni's in-house directors, because he's done stuff like Amagi Brilliant Park, Full Metal Panic, Second Raid, Fumofu, Lucky Star Hyoka, Free, or one of the Free movies, I think, Chunibyo, Haruhi, so he's been around the block a bit.
Yep.
With music by Yuka Yamada, who's worked on stuff like Aikatsu, No Non Biori, New Game, Samurai Warriors. I wanted to like that show, but it just didn't have the budget. Sorry. Or excuse me, did I say music? Composition. Wow. What's dyslexia? The music is done by Masumi Ito, who's worked on stuff like Azumanga Daioh, Gundam Age, My Hime, and Scrapped Princess. So, this show has its pedigree. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the opinion of Gundam Age is a little contentious, but I feel like it's better than the show that followed it immediately. But we have somewhat spread our opinion around on G-Reco, so.
Hey, guess what's getting a new season, maybe?
No.
I've read, maybe that's just a rumor. I read.
No.
He's thinking about it.
No. I know there's some Gundam OVA next season, and I think Thunderbolt is back, but G-Reco doesn't need to come back.
I've heard rumors, John.
Anyway,
let's continue.
Tomino, please. Tomino-san Yamete.
Let's get back to an actually good show that makes sense.
Yes. So, Kobayashi is your average office worker. She lives in a small apartment, has a work friend named Takia. The two of them get drunk and nerd out about various things on a regular basis. Like, Kobayashi has a certain love for maids. In our trip home from the bar one night, she misses her stop on the train and ends up in the outskirts of Tokyo, where she drunkenly stumbles upon, of all things, a dragon. Mm-hmm. The dragon's scales are punctured by a large sword, like almost implausibly large, actually, now I'm thinking about it.
Sword of the gods, you might say.
Yeah. And she somehow manages to remove the sword from the dragon's wound. And the dragon, Toru, asks how best to repay Kobayashi's kindness, to which she drunkenly responds, "You should crash in my place as Maid." Cut to the next day when Toru shows up at a hungover Kobayashi's doorstep. It's one of those moments where they didn't do this, and I wish they had. If she had opened the door, seen the dragon, and just slowly closed it. Kobayashi has like instantly visible regret. But when Toru changes form to a human maid and reminds Kobayashi of her words from the night before, what ensues is pretty much a complete lifestyle change for Kobayashi with, a new draconic friend and maybe other draconic friends.
Most definitely.
And a whole plethora of new experiences.
So I'm not the biggest slice of life fan, just as that that is not going anywhere story wise. So I was a bit of reluctant to checking out Dragon Maid because I was assuming that's where it was going, and that's kind of what it is. It's like it's a story about the characters in that show like growing together, and especially Toru and Kobayashi, and later the little girl dragon Kana becoming like this family, this surrogate family, and it's I didn't expect to connect to that show so well, but it was like it was really endearing to me. I looked forward to each episode and just wanted to see like what the characters are up to and how they're growing more together in this episode. And that continued on, and there was also this there were always small hints at what happened to Toru. Why was she pierced by a sword? Like, what happened in the other world? What was her like there? And there are always small hints sprinkled throughout the show at what that was, and a few short minutes here and there where you see Toru in her dragon form in the other world, and later on you get a bit of an emotional payoff that also relates to her life in the other world and everything. But mostly the show is concentrating on developing these characters and showing the dragon characters getting used to human life, becoming more human, and like I said, Toru and Kana and Kobayashi become this family. And also the other dragons that turn up, creating their families in different parts. And I was like, I don't know, that resonated with me. That was that could have been super boring, but all these characters were so endearing and funny, and the stuff that happens was so outrageous sometimes, and so just so hilarious. And yeah, I did not expect the show to have that much fun with the show, but KyoAni worked its magic again. It's not. I didn't feel like it was super. I don't know, deep or anything, or did teach us anything super new about humanity or stuff like that. But it's like, oh yeah, that's a neat perspective on that stuff, and I don't know, just really nice character stories in a lot of the episode, and a lot of the things in there were just super heartwarming. I don't know, do you agree?
Oh yeah, I went into this show expecting it, to be goofy, but I wasn't expecting to have a very serious case of the feels several times throughout. But I feel like just because the interactions between the characters, they felt meaningful.
Yes,
and that's what really drew me in.
And it's a weird thing because the setup for the show is totally ludicrous.
Yeah.
Right? But the emotional core is so earnest and so strong that every time these characters interact with each other, they feel very real. They feel very like, okay, this is what these characters would do. This is what these characters would say to each other. Like the relationship between Kobayashi and Toru feels like this really nice, beautiful, slowly developing thing that just makes you happy to look at and gives you warm and fuzzy feelings inside. It's like it's really nice. And I don't know if you watch like the first episode or something, like, oh god, this is gonna be a fan service show or something. Fan service is in there, yes, mostly in the form of what's her name, that
Lukoa.
ex-god Lukoa.
Yeah, I mean, I like her. She's goofy, but I feel like she might be distracting for some.
Yeah, it's like most of the time it's not overbearing, only when she is around, maybe. And even then, it's not like, okay, it's a one-note joke. She has big tits, ha ha ha, and has, the Shota character, who's also named Shota, I think.
Yeah. A little on the nose.
Who she's kind of trying to seduce or something, but still, it's not like it's not offensive or anything, and it's not like the main part of the show, and it's also it doesn't really detract from what makes the show great, and what's the emotional core of the show, and that it's like this, these characters living together. And I also think one of my favorite characters, Fafnir, which I didn't expect. Like, he's this super grumpy dragon who's most in the beginning is like, fuck all humans, destroy them all, blah. And then Kobayashi's coworker gets him into Dark Souls, and
Yes!
his fate is sealed, and he gets addicted to video games.
Super good. Oh man, Fafnir and Takia they're great.
And the episode, like the one bit in one of the episodes that like focuses on them and their daily life, that was so, I don't know, so great and so heartwarming. And the resolution Fafnir draws at the end in terms to humanity and his place in this world is, I don't know, it's just great. It's just like, that felt nice. You're a good guy after all, and everything. So it's just a nice statement on, I don't know, on relationships and why they are important, and what makes them special, and how people benefit from them and everything, and how forming relationships and learning new things and meeting new people helps you grow as a person and experience new things and everything. Because, like you said, these dragons crashing into Kobayashi's life completely changes her lifestyle, and she has to get used to that. It's not all like sunshine and rainbow, because some of the stuff that comes with moving into a bigger house and everything, and having to take care of a child, it's not all easy.
No.
And she's not used to that, but in the end, a lot of that stuff is worth it, and that's just it's really cool, and it's developed and told with a lot of care, which I think is like one of the staples of KyoAni, at least for a lot of their productions. There's this, I don't know, there's just this earnestness to the story and those characters that makes them feel real, and makes them make their stories pull at your heartstrings very easily. It's just very well made in that regard. So yeah, I don't know who was my favorite character. Was Fafnir, like I said. Who was your favorite character?
I kind of really liked Kana, just because she obviously was very childlike, and she just has these scenes where it's like you're expecting her to do one thing, and then she just turns it on its head.
Yeah, she's adorable.
Yeah.
She is an anime child, not a real child, so she isn't loud or annoying or obnoxious in any way. So she's just basically there to be super adorable and cute, and also teach you something about trying to be a kid in this world. And she's surprisingly good at that, and finds a liking to that, and makes a friend with this girl who's super into her.
Yeah, just a bit. Rico is very into her is an understatement. Just like saying that Toru is into Kobayashi is an understatement.
Yeah, Rico is like, you can tell she's a weird girl because she's a Japanese kid with an Xbox 360. So that's all you need to know. Anyway, yeah, Toru and Kobayashi, the centerpiece of the show, it's great. It's like a lot of, like I said, I have a problem with a lot of relationships not committing in anime stories, And you could argue that this doesn't either, but I don't know, I was fine with it because I don't know, the emotional payoff at the end was very well constructed, felt very nice, and was a nice like exclamation point on the whole thing. So it didn't feel like it left things open-ended. Maybe that's why it felt a lot more satisfying to me than, for example, Yuri on Ice or anything. So yeah, I like their emotional arc and the relationship the show built for them, even though a lot of it is basically, haha, how can I make her fall in love with me today, and how can I make her maybe eat part of my tail?
A very dangerously poisonous to humans tail.
Yeah, that's not a metaphor for anything, or Anyway, okay. But yeah, I don't know. Their dynamic just worked, and I think the only character that came really short, in my opinion, was what was her name? Edna? Elma, right?
Yeah, she is kind of introduced, and then she's there for like side jokes.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, they're gonna do something with her and set up like a rivalry. She's also gonna fall for Kobayashi or something, and then it's gonna be like this ongoing thing between Elma and Toru, because they all already have a history of not really liking each other. But then she was just kind of cast aside, which was a bit of a shame, I think. Yeah. So I don't know why they brought her into the show.
Yeah, it was a little strange.
Yeah. And like we already mentioned, Big Boobs Girl is, mostly one-note joke character too. Although she has like a nice heart-to-heart scene with Toru in a certain part.
Mm-hmm. I like that. The ending theme is called interspecies communication. Mm-hmm. And I think it really plays to like, the big central theme of, these characters who are, from different walks of life or of different species entirely, trying to, get along, get to know each other. And it's kind of a nice icing on the cake sort of thing that says, yeah, this is what we're going for with it sort of deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Show makes also like a strong case, just in general, the show makes a strong case for like you said, communicating, understanding one another, trying to reach out to one another, not isolating yourself and stuff like that. So there's a lot of good messages in there, and which are brought across very well, in my opinion. So mm-hmm. If you think this is mainly like a fun comedy romp, it is, but there's also some meat to it. And I like shows that do that, and that's maybe why I stuck with it. I know you are much more tolerant when it comes to, comedy hijinks only shows, but I assume you already also appreciated the more, I don't know, substantial bits of the show.
Oh, definitely. I appreciate that, like I said, it was goofy, but it did have some heart to it.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if there is space for a second season.
Maybe. I didn't think so. On an unrelated show, I didn't think so about Girlish Number, but apparently it's gonna be coming back.
That's good. It gives me time to catch up with the first season, which I still wanted to check out.
So even though they didn't outwardly say or make it apparent with this, that there's gonna be more. At this point in the world we live in, you might as well just throw your hands up and say, I don't know, maybe it could.
Mm-hmm. I would like to see more. I would like to maybe have Toru and Kobayashi go over to Toru's world and, I don't know, spend a bit of time there. And, because they teased at the end of the show that they're going to go over and visit Kobayashi's parents. Mm. And maybe vice versa. After what happened at the last episode of the show, that's not likely.
Yeah, that was a bit.
But maybe they'll go over to the other world and meet Toru's parents and everything, and some of her friends over there and stuff like that. And this is also one I didn't mention that before, but that's also, I like shows that have like this kind of underlying melancholy to it, and the Dragon Maze is another one of those. What was the last one I mentioned that on? Oh yeah, Macross Delta. It's like it's a cute love story, but there's also this melancholy underlying it because shit, what was the main girl's name?
Freya.
Because Freya is like from this alien race that only lives like for 30 years or something. So it's like, okay, these characters are in love, but they won't have much time living together because it's just different time spans. And it's the same in this because Toru is basically, I don't know if she's immortal, but dragons live a lot longer than humans, and that's one of the things that, you know, the dragons, also other dragon characters sometimes mention to Toru, and it's like, hey, do you really want to, you know, build this relationship? Do you really waste your time on a human because, you know, Kobayashi is gonna die way before you, and is this worth it? You know, doing this, and this is that underlying tone and that feeling that's in the background. And it's like, yeah, this is all cute and everything, but this is maybe not gonna have a happy ending. We won't see that ending. I doubt it, but it's like there's like this slight sad note to it that makes it a bit more substantial, and gives it a bit more weight, and I like that in shows like that, and I appreciate that this show didn't ignore that either. Like, you know, use this ludicrous fantasy setup and, you know, this weird idea about a dragon and a human falling in love, and, you know, the fantasy concept and that, and, you know, bring that make this like a kind of bittersweet love story, mostly sweet, but, you know, like I said, with a slightly sad undertone. And I wonder if they, you know, if there's a second season, if they're gonna explore it a little bit more, maybe put a bit of drama in there. Like there's not a lot of drama in the show, like a bit more in the final episode, due to certain circumstances, but mostly it's comedy, good comedy, like not super loud comedy or anything, but there are really, really, really a lot of comedy high points in that show. So I don't know. I can recommend this show to anyone, I think. What would you say?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think this is. I feel like it's a show that I don't know if everyone would be able to get on the level with it, but I think a lot of people would definitely enjoy it, just because, you know, it has that comfortable mix of the familiar and the supernatural, kind of like another KyoAni show, like Kyokai no Kanata sort of did, where it had, you know, a lot of crazy supernatural stuff in there, but it was grounded in like our world.
Yeah, a very human show as well, I assume.
Yeah.
So I watched that, and so is Dragon Maid. Like I said, despite being populated by dragons and, you know, being this ludicrous fantasy setup, it's a very, very human show. Yeah, if it depends on what you're looking for. If you're like looking for a heavily story-driven anime, this show might not be for you. I usually look for those kind of shows as well. Like I said, I'm not the biggest slice of life guy, but in this case, and because they were sometimes hinting at, you know, there being a bit more story there than, you know, most of the episodes are letting through, that, you know, that kept me going. And then, of course, the characters and, you know, the jokes and everything were good. So, yeah, give it a chance if you... Maybe if you think that the fan service is enough for you, you know, don't worry. Like I said, it's not overbearing. It's here and there, but it's not like, it's not super invasive or anything. So, and not offensive at all, in my opinion. There are definitely worse fan service shows, and it all feels like it comes from a good place, even though it might be a bit too overzealous in certain parts. But, you know, it's not like, this is gross, or this is really, really icky, and I feel bad watching this. That never happened to me, and I usually am pretty sensitive to those things, and am willing to drop shows on the spot when they get into a weird direction. I think the only show where I didn't do it, and I don't know why, maybe because the action parts were so good, was in Black Bullet, like we already mentioned before, because
yeah.
that show went into pretty gross places, and I was like, yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, Black Bow is kind of one of those shows where you just kind of grit your teeth and see it's at the end.
Yeah. And Dragon Maid never gave me that feeling. It was always pleasant. It always had nice stories to tell. The characters were always sympathetic and everything. And yeah, don't expect much drama, like I said, except for the last episode. Just a lot of comedy, pleasant stuff, fun dragon hijinks and everything. And, maybe learn a bit about human relationships from a very interesting point of view and everything. So yeah, it's just cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's really recommended. And if you just look at the picture and see like, oh, cute dragon maid lady and cute little girl and lady with giant tits. No, this is not for me. Please give it a chance because
It is a genuinely fun show.
yes, it's genuinely fun. It's genuinely good, very entertaining, and I think it's definitely worth a watch. And not a long show either. So yeah, please check it out. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, thumbs up for me. And John?
Very much thumbs up.
And that is a wrap on the 28th episode of Anime Brain Freeze. All the music in our show is from the Double Dragon Neon soundtrack by the amazing Jake Kaufman. Please go to vrt.bandcamp.com and check out his awesome work. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and animebrainfreeze.com. Leave us comments and questions anywhere you like, or send us an email to animebrainfreeze@gmail.com. We would love to read your feedback. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you had a good time, and please join us again on our next show. Macht's gut.
Take care, everybody.
Next time on Anime Brain Freeze.
A harem, but not exactly what you expected.
Then we dance with the devil's son.
And then stage a coup in a truly tasty kingdom.